worked hard on that one.
How very Jeopardy of you.
Just for you.
Yeah.
I have your back on these things.
I appreciate
yes,
that
a indeed.
lot.
And Snoopy would too, but Snoopy's taking the hour off.
Yeah, Snoopy's got to get ready for Nutmeg.
Well,
That's right.
That's essentially why I'm in the studio. It's like, Snoopy bailed. Don, we need you in the studio.
Pretty much.
So we have a busy day ahead, a lot of news to get to.
Snoopy equals diva.
I'm not going there. Nope. You guys put that on the tee, and I'm just going to swing and miss. Okay. We've got weather to get to. We've got traffic to get to. A bunch of things going on. In fact, I'll keep it right here and give you the traffic and weather. We'll shoot over to you and get the news started in a moment. The DOT is doing construction work at exits 5 and 6 on Interstate 84 in Danbury. The project consists of widening the exit 5 off-ramps eastbound and westbound, and the exit 6 off-ramp and on-ramp as well. In fact, I was driving through that area last night. I saw the sign, so they'll be working there for quite a while. Route 37 at North Street and Padanaram Road will also be widened in the area of Exit 6, and traffic signals will be upgraded and or added at the intersections of Baumforth Avenue to the North Street Shopping Center. There will be lane closures on the highway for the construction work. Commuters should expect delays Monday through Friday as follows. At the Exit 5 eastbound off-ramp, and again, this is on I-84 in Danbury, from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. overnight work. Exit 6 westbound off-ramp from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. I beg your pardon. Exit 5, the westbound off-ramp, and the Exit 6 eastbound on-ramp will be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 6 p. to 6 a. Padanaram Road, also known as Route 37, will be under construction from 9 p. to 6 a. and all other roadways 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. On Saturdays and Sundays, work will be limited to 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. You might want to look into all of that as well at the Connecticut DOT website, because that is certainly a lot to keep in mind. Elsewhere in the area, as we look around at traffic on this Wednesday morning, I mean, you know, we've got the usual collection of problems in terms of various road work. We already told you all about Danbury, but in Norwalk, we've got at 95 southbound beyond exit 16. We also have an accident in Glastonbury on Route 2 westbound at exit 11. That's Tollgate Road. There's road work in Waterford, 95 north at exit 82. That's Route 85 Broad Street. That's going on today. Road work in Glastonbury. That's Route 3 northbound. Before Main Street, road work as well. Merritt Parkway southbound. Sing along with me. I'm sure you've heard them all before. That's at exit 44, Black Rock Turnpike, a.k.a. Route 58. New Britain, 72 westbound at exit 7, Route 372, Corbin Avenue. And in Groton, 95 northbound, and that is just beyond exit 86. One last one for you, because we're like this. Road work, New Haven, 91 southbound at exit 3. That is Trumbull Street. And a bonus for you, drive carefully according to the Register Citizen near Danbury Road and Bridge Street in New Milford. That's the Route 202, Route US 7 combination. There are rescue crews headed there to a crash. That came out a little while ago. That may be cleared up by now, but you might want to keep it in mind. As for your weather today, rain showers and drizzle, highs in the lower 40s with an east wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, rain showers, drizzle with a chance of sleet. Yeah, you heard that right. In the evening, a low of 33, rain showers later on, and drizzle with possible sleet and freezing drizzle. I swear, I'm not coming back,
Can
guys.
we all just agree that Rob does not do weather anymore?
Seriously,
moly.
I mean,
God.
guys, that's
sorry.
2 in a row.
It's like, what is it, Snow Miser?
Yes, I am the snow miser. 42 is your high for tomorrow with rain showers and drizzle likely. 39 is the low
Make
for tomorrow
him stop.
night. Okay, I will stop.
What? No tornadoes?
Hang on. Now, there is a chance of showers in the morning and showers likely later on in the day on Friday, and that will impact our baseball coverage at Ridgefield on Friday. However, the high is 62. Rob bringing the heat now. 57 is your high as we go to Dodd Stadium on Saturday. Folks,
Bringing the heat like Dr. K.
well, I'm trying. We've got 40s around the area, 40 down in Darien and Ridgefield, 43 in Greenwich, and 42 right here in Shelton. Coffee break time, John, 11:06.
That'll do it for your coffee break. My God.
To the news we go.
That The Danbury project is one that people are going to have to be alert to. That is.
They are. And the signs are open, as I said, all over the area. All those variable message boards are telling you to take note as you go through the Danbury exit, through exits exits 5 and 6, which tends to jumble up a lot anyway, especially on Fridays and in heavier days, rain and all that. So, yeah, you're definitely going to want to be mindful of that on 84.
Something to be aware of, and we'll drive past each other on Saturday through that.
We'll wave.
We will.
All right.
Leading the news this morning, the only person of interest in the 34-year-old unsolved murder of a Darien police officer was indicted Tuesday on unrelated charges. 57-year-old Anthony Sabato of West Haven faces narcotics trafficking charges, along with 25-year-old Miguel Joel Roman of Hartford, both in an 11-count indictment returned by a federal grand jury in New Haven. Sabato is also charged with illegally possessing a firearm. Both are being held without bail. Sabato remains the only person of interest in the May 31st, 1981 murder of Darien police officer Kenneth Bateman, gunned down when he responded to a burglar alarm at the Duchess restaurant on the Post Road near the Exit 13 on-ramp to I-95. According to the United States Attorney's Office, this most recent investigation was conducted by the FBI New Haven Safe Streets Task Force. The West Haven Police Department and Darien Police authorities used an undercover officer as part of the investigation, police said. At the time of the arrest last month, Darien Police reconfirmed that Sabato remains a person of interest in the Kenny Bateman case. As alleged in previously filed court documents, between January and March of this year, an undercover officer purchased crack cocaine from Sabato and Roman. Sabato and Roman also negotiated the purchase of a handgun from the undercover officer and arranged to sell him 2 ounces of crack cocaine at a price of $2,000 per ounce. Sabato and Roman were arrested March 24th after they met the undercover officer at Sabato's West Haven home to consummate the crack cocaine and firearm transaction. The indictment returned Tuesday charges Sabato and Roman with 1 count of conspiracy to distribute and to possess with the intent to distribute 280 grams or more of cocaine base, also known as crack cocaine, an offense that carries a mandatory minimum term of imprisonment of 10 years and a maximum term of life in prison. Sabato and Roman are also charged with 2 counts of possession with the intent to distribute and distribution of 28 grams or more of cocaine base, an offense that carries a mandatory minimum term of 5 years in prison, a maximum term of 40 years in prison on each count. They are also charged with 4 counts of possession with the intent to distribute and distribution of cocaine base. That carries maximum term of 20 years in prison on each count. In addition, the indictment charges Sabato with 1 count of maintaining a drug-involved premises within 1,000 feet of a school, an offense that carries a maximum term of imprisonment of 20 years, 2 counts of possession with the intent to distribute and distribution of oxycodone, an offense that carries a maximum term of 20 years on each count, and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, which carries a maximum term of imprisonment in 10 years. Again, none of these charges relate directly to the murder of Darien police officer Kenneth Bateman in 1981. But Darien police continue to say that all of their investigations continue to lead back to Sabato, who until recently was in prison and is now being held without bail on these pending federal charges. Your coffee break time is 11:10.
John, authorities have arrested a Wallingford man who placed 5 harassing phone calls to Sandy Hook Elementary School and accused staff of fabricating the 2012 massacre that left 20 students and 6 educators dead, according to police. Timothy Rogalski, 30, of Wallingford, left 4 disturbing telephone messages on the school answering machine Tuesday morning, according to police. He called back a 5th time and spoke to an administrative assistant. Police said Rogalski also left messages on the machines of 2 other schools in Newtown. He was arrested at his home in Wallingford and charged with 5 counts of harassment and 1 count of disorderly conduct out of Monroe. Newtown police also issued Rogalski a misdemeanor summons charging him with harassment. Rogalski's bond was set at $2,500. Coffee break time is 11:11. It's Wednesday morning.
Thanks, Rob. Autopsies on a body found off Watson Boulevard in Stratford, and a Stratford man considered a person of interest in the disappearance of a Bridgeport woman will be conducted today, according to Bridgeport Police. Bridgeport Police spokesman William Camphor said the state chief medical examiner will conduct the autopsies in Farmington. Bridgeport and Stratford Police cleared the scene on Watson Boulevard, which is off Lordship Boulevard, around noon Tuesday, following nearly 2 days of investigation, according to the Stratford Star. Officers went there in connection with their search for Minnie Lincoln, who was reported missing about 2 weeks ago on March 31st. Police found an unidentified body Monday afternoon in a marshy area. Police declared the area a crime scene, but have yet to identify whose body it is or what its condition was when found. Police at the scene used specialized dogs Tuesday while searching for more evidence. On Monday night, Bridgeport police returned to Jackson's residence in Stratford. Knocked on the door, officers said they heard a single shot and found him dead inside of what they believe is a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Jackson was last seen with Lincoln when she disappeared from the Old Timers Club on Stratford Avenue in Bridgeport on March 27th. About 10 after 11 that night, she was escorted by Jackson, who owned the building. They were last seen walking toward his F-150 pickup truck in which they left. On March 31st, her family reported her missing. Detectives investigating the disappearance spoke with Jackson, who then failed to show up for a follow-up interview. He was found Saturday in a vehicle at the Mohegan Sun Casino. Then the body parts were found, or the body was found on Monday. They still haven't made clear. It's been called remains. They've said they found remains. They said they found a body. They have not said who it is yet. That will be hopefully established today. And when they went back to interview Jackson again, that is when he was found dead. We'll be watching that story for updates. Follow that at StratfordStar.com and TheBridgeportNews.com. We are at 11:13 on your coffee break. We're a little late for the traffic and weather, Rob.
Yeah, we'll jump back in one more time, and then we'll take a break as we'll get ready for sports. And, of course, visiting with Don as he'll bring us some history on this day. But first of all, we've got road work 95 southbound, just beyond exit 16. That's East Avenue. We've got an accident Glastonbury. That is Route 2 westbound at exit 11. Road work in Waterford, 95 northbound at exit 82. Road work as well in Glastonbury. This is on Route 3 versus Route 2. This is Route 3 northbound, and that's a half mile before Main Street. Road work in Fairfield, Merritt Parkway southbound at exit 44. One day you're going to have to explain to me, and I love roads if you don't know, but why they decided to screw things up and just not call it the Merritt Parkway Wilbur Cross versus Route 15. I think it confuses people. That's just my little sidebar on this topic.
Do you get confused by Route 1, Boston Post Road? Or?
I don't get confused
Westport
by any of that
Avenue,
stuff.
Connecticut Avenue,
I just call it
Post
Route 1.
Road.
Turnpike, I-95?
Turnpike 95. Nope, none of those.
That confuses you. It's just the Parkway that confuses you.
It doesn't even confuse me necessarily. I think it's the way that the signs are done, because if you tell somebody to go to the Merritt Parkway or the Wilbur Cross and they're from out of the area and all of a sudden they pull up to Route 15, they're going, wait, what? What am I doing here?
Now, are you confused? Like if you're on the Wilbur Cross and you're driving south onto the Merritt Parkway, and then you're on the Hutchinson, and you're like, well, I'm totally lost now. I can never find my way back.
None of this has ever troubled me, but that's because I'm a road doofus. But that's just me. Anyway, road work around the area and plenty of it, or a road Nimrod. Yes, that was a popular word from yesterday's programming. New Haven,
Mighty Hunter?
New Haven, which came out of a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Roadwork 91 southbound and New Haven at exit 3. Groton, we have Roadwork 95 northbound, and in New Britain 72 westbound at exit 7. As for your forecast, it's my fault. Rain, high 42. Tonight, more of the same, low 33. Tomorrow, some sleet thrown in as well, high 42. Low of 39 tomorrow night. 62 is your high for Friday with a chance of more rain. 43 your low Friday night. I'm going to try to get you something good. It's partly sunny and breezy on Saturday. 57 the high, which last year when we went to Dodge Stadium was about that same kind of day.
Yeah, well, it was a beautiful sunny day. It was a little bit brisk, but it was one of those hope is in the air days because it was warm. It was a windbreaker type day.
It was a good day.
Like, when and this time of year always brings me back to it. And you guys might even be too young to remember this. They used to sell baseball jackets for kids, but they weren't the official teams. They had like little ball with the cross bats, and they had like New York, Cleveland.
I can find you proof of me wearing one.
When you got to wear that to school in the morning, it was spring. Winter was over when you got to wear it. Yes.
Navy
Yes.
base
Yep.
with red sleeves or blue sleeves.
I had it was monochromatic, but it had stripes.
Could have been either or, and it had these little baseballs, felt baseballs.
Yes.
Up and down. And yeah, they said things like Yanks or NY.
As
or
close as they could get without trademark infringement.
darn right.
It's just kind of where we all exist.
Out for a break at 11:17. We can come back and talk about more of that. I think, if Don doesn't mind me saying, there could be a baseball edge to history today.
We could be heavy on the baseball.
We could be. We'll find out when we come back on your coffee break. 11:17 on the Hersom Acorn Network and HANradio.com.
Your child has fallen and broken his arm. You need to see an orthopedist fast. Think Coastal Ortho Express in Norwalk. Don't wait hours in the ER. Save a trip and money by going straight to an orthopedic specialist at Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care in Norwalk. No appointment necessary. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, 203-845-2070. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or call 203-845-2070. Fast.
Spring is finally in the air, and our favorite season is upon us. The Dock Shop is all geared up with a great selection of fishing tackle, custom fishing rods, and all the latest accessories to replenish your tackle box. The Dock Shop has also just brought out the newest spring fashion apparel from Montauk Tackle, Altered Latitudes, Kaylee Smith, and Margaritaville Apparel. Need some new foul weather gear for those chilly spring mornings? The Dock Shop is loaded up with Grundens and Stormer in a variety of styles and sizes. Ladies, we've got you covered as well with spring apparel and the newest designs of coastal jewelry, bags, and accessories. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, Connecticut. Visit us at dockshop.com.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332.
Why is it that...
And online at stratfordsmile.com.
Alliance. We are an industry leader in coordinating transportation for large events such as corporate roadshows, conferences, and special events. Our team of experts understands the dynamics and logistics of high-pressure situations and complex arrangements, all within a rapidly changing environment. Since 1999, we have added charter jets, event management, and personal protection to our range of services. Mention this ad for $25 off your next round-trip reservation. Alliance and you. Together, we can achieve the extraordinary. 855-546-6996 or alliancelimo.com.
Hersom Acorn and HANradio.com.
11:20 on your coffee break on HANradio.com and the Hersom Acorn Network. Kate Chaplinsky off, I don't know. You normally have a better answer than I do as to what Kate's up to.
That's true. I wasn't expecting to actually be in the studio today, though, so I'm a little bit derelict.
And
on
I happen
that.
to like Kate, and I don't want Kate to dislike me. So, what's Kate doing today, Don? make something up for me.
So
Yeah, be funny.
I get tossed on the.
Yeah,
I get
come
tossed
on,
the-
Don,
I'm
be
sure
funny.
Kate is undoubtedly working hard in the Trumbull Times.
There you go.
She's wearing the butt kicking boots today, so I'm not going to go anywhere near that.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's the pain.
The pain, yes.
The pain.
The pain. That's Donald Eng over there. John Kovach. To my left, I'm Rob Adams. Happy you're along today here on HANradio.com. And it is time for Mr. Eng to settle into the microphone for a little history. What do we got on this day?
We got a lot, and as we said earlier, a lot of it is baseball related, but before that, we have some other interesting items. On this day, April 8th, 1513, explorer Juan Ponce de Leon claims Florida for Spain. He named the land after the flowers that grew abundantly there, and he made himself rich by enslaving the natives and plundering the land of its resources. Now, the story of him searching for a mythical fountain of youth didn't appear until after his death. A biographer printed a rumor that the real reason he went to Florida was to search for a cure for his impotence. In his memoirs, De Leon wrote of sampling a local aphrodisiac brewed from a vine. He may have miswritten vine, that's vide, as vida, which means life. In any event, De Leon did father 4 children in his older years, so who knows? 1942, in World War II, the Japanese capture Bataan in the Philippines. That, of course, just the beginning of the suffering for these 70,000 Filipino and American survivors. As many as 1,600 Americans and possibly up to 20,000 Filipino defenders died of heat exhaustion and malnutrition along what was to be known as the Bataan Death March. Those too injured or exhausted to keep up were simply bayoneted or beheaded along the side of the road. 1952, President Harry Truman seizes American steel mills to prevent a nationwide strike. And now the baseball highlights. 1974, Hammerin' Hank Aaron hits his 715th home run, breaking Babe Ruth's record. He was memorably joined by a pair of fans as he ran around the bases.
And there's another little fact about that I only recently learned. There is a man that is on the field in a long white jacket as Aaron reaches home plate. If you've ever seen the video,
yes,
there's a man lingering behind, almost kind of getting in the mix. That is Craig Sager, broadcaster, who just made his way onto the field famously that night, and that became his little claim to fame.
Styling and profiling as usual.
And 40 years later, and I'll tell you what, I'll drop you a little, since we won't do it now, on Nutmeg, I'll work it in. There are 3 known broadcast calls. I own all 3. We'll play them during Nutmeg of Aaron's 715th. Do you know the 3 broadcasters? A little trivia for you. It was on NBC.
Gowdy did
on
one.
TV.
Gowdy did the main.
Kurt Gowdy did the main. It was on Braves radio, which is probably the more famous broadcast call.
So that is going to be...
Tough name. No, well-known name, but a tough name if you don't know your broadcasting history. I don't want to linger too long.
Don't go
Milo
on.
Hamilton.
Okay,
And the third one
Never
should
would've
just
got
stick
that.
out like a sore thumb since it's me talking. It's against the Dodgers.
Well,
it's
gonna be
Vince
Vince
Scully.
Scully,
So
obviously.
Yeah, that's the one. So, okay, with all that said, and great job by the guys bringing up some graphics of Aaron rounding the bases that night with the 2 guys right alongside him, the 2
those
fans.
Guys, you can never envision
Can't do that today.
Well, no.
Anyway.
They would have gotten the Punch and Judy treatment instantly on the field.
They don't screw around with that.
Welcome to the field. 1 lump or 3.
I'm belaboring it. That'll be on Nutmeg Sports later on. Don, you've got more.
We do. 1975, the year after Hank Aaron hits his 715th home run, Frank Robinson of the Cleveland Indians becomes the first black manager of a Major League Baseball team, which is ironic because on this day also, 12 years later, one of the great baseball careers of the LA Dodgers came to a crashing end because of this.
I mean, there are a lot of black players. There are a lot of great black baseball men. I mean, there are a lot of black players. There are a lot of great black baseball men who would dearly love to be in managerial positions. And I guess what I'm really asking you is to, peel it away a little bit. Just tell me, why do you think it is? Is there still that much prejudice in baseball today?
No, I don't believe it's prejudice. I truly believe that they may not have some of the necessities to be, let's say, a field manager or perhaps a general manager.
You really believe that?
Well, I don't say that they're all of them, but they certainly are short. How many quarterbacks do you have? How many pitchers do you have that are black?
But I mean, I got to tell you, that sounds like the same kind of garbage we were hearing 40 years ago about players when they were saying, not really cut out. You remember the days, hit a black football player in the knees, and no, that really sounds like garbage if you forget to say so.
It's not garbage, Mr. Cobble, because I played on a college team, and the center fielder was black, and then the backfield at NYU with the fullback who was black. Never knew the difference of whether he was black or white. We were teammates. So it just might be that why are black men or black people not good swimmers?
All right, that, of course, Los Angeles executive Al Campanis. He, on this day, 1987, he resigned over remarks he had made on ABC's Nightline a couple of days earlier. Campanis said blacks may not have some of the necessities to hold managerial jobs. He also obviously went on to say that perhaps they're not good pitchers, not good swimmers. On this day, 1987, Al Campanis resigns.
Boy.
Yeah.
And yet, few people were more proactive toward African Americans in baseball than Al Campanis.
That's the amazing thing, is that he really was.
It was a great shame.
Yeah, it's
one of the things you just shake your head.
You really do. You hear him saying that, and you just stop. Just please stop.
And you forget until you hear them again just how bad those words were.
And how casually they were delivered, I thought, is what strikes me. That
just matter of fact.
Sort of like everyone knows this.
I totally agree.
But what are you talking about? Why are you even asking that question?
And ruin the man's life, unfortunately. And largely to his own doing, but it definitely, that boy, it damaged him a great deal. And that was a man who had a good, good baseball career as an executive. So it's a shame. That is our look back at history.
That is. And I'm Don Ling.
You are. See?
You're not. See?
I wanted to make sure you got right there to the very end. Always want to make sure Don gets the out cue in. All right. We can move on to sports right now at 11:27 because we are rolling along here. And really, there's not a whole lot to talk about in terms of recaps. We do have Nutmeg Sports coming up at 2 o'clock. Paul Silverfarb and I will have Scott Erickson on, as well as Mike Scott, the head baseball coach at Darien High School. Darien will be traveling up the road to play Norwich Free Academy on Saturday at Dodd Stadium. That's a game we will have for you here on HAN Radio and the Hersom Acorn Network. Really excited to go back there, and I'm kind of bummed a couple of my colleagues aren't going back with me because that was one of the more fun days we had last year.
I really wish I could because it was a great facility. It was a great broadcast. You're in a legit press box, but I've got a prior. I will be up at the Catskill Fly Fishing Center Museum doing a Yankee fisherman segment on their opening day. They're going to have kids do the ceremonial first cast, and we'll talk more about that on Yankee Fisherman. But yeah, I was really bummed to see that the two of them coincided.
Yeah, and this doesn't necessarily. Well, this does kind of transition over to you, the viewers and listeners. But for John, Josh Fisher, and I, it was kind of almost like a bonding day for the three of us. We had a really good time at the ballpark, and then later on with a food experience, shall we say? And we'll just leave it at that. We'll get into the schedule now.
We'll discuss that later.
Fun memory for sure. But anyway, we've got lacrosse later on tonight on HAN Radio and the Hersom Acorn Network, audio and video, as we go to Rafferty Stadium on the campus of Fairfield University. It is Fairfield University's lacrosse field. It is Fairfield Prep's lacrosse field. And for tonight, it is Fairfield Ludlow's lacrosse field, as Ludlow will host Xavier at 7 o'clock. Really excited. I got to walk around this new facility on a Monday afternoon. It's a beautiful place, and now I want to see how it broadcasts tonight.
We call that productive trespassing.
Yes, well, at the time it wasn't too unproductive because there was a practice going on, and I did feel a little guilty about walking in. But anyway, we'll live. I had the credentials to show that I am who I am. I am what I say I am. Anyway, let's jump into the rest of the schedule.
Rob is what we thought he was.
I'm going to read you the games. Thank you. I'm going to read you the games in baseball and softball, but can we all just agree that these probably aren't happening? New Milford at Danbury, Trinity Catholic at Stratford, Brian McMahon home for Bunnell, Norwalk is at Bethel, Trumbull at Massac, Newtown at Staples. Here's the one game that might happen today. New Fairfield at Darien because they play on artificial turf. Ridgefield at Pomperog and Wilton at Brookfield. No, it's not the Astrodome, though you never know. The Darien Dome could come to be one day. Newtown at Trumbull. Trinity Catholic at exactly. This is softball. Newtown at Trumbull. Trinity Catholic at Joel Barlow. Harding home for Darien. Massac is at Ludlow. Bunnell at Ward. Danbury at New Milford. Colby Cathedral at Norwalk. It's New Fairfield at Staples. Greenwich at Sacred Heart. Pomperog hosting Ridgefield. Brookfield is at Wilton. The other lacrosse games on the docket are West Hill at Darien, St. Joe's at New Canaan, Danbury at Bunnell, and Staples at McMahon. On the girls' side, it's Darien at Ludlow, Danbury at Staples, New Canaan at St. Joe's, Stamford home for McMahon, Brookfield at Greenwich, Ridgefield at Trumbull, Norwalk at New Milford, and West Hill is at Ward. I'll keep going since we've got so much here, or I could save it for the later part of the show. What do you think, John? Let's make an executive. Why don't we wait?
You've got the list in front of you. Just mark where you are and pick up.
We'll pick up later on. It's because we don't normally end sports at 11:31.
No, we're a little
behind. I'll do a quick look at the weather, then we'll throw it back over to John. All right, here's what we've got going on today, and it is, again, I'm sorry, I am the bearer of bad news.
Soul-crushing weather reporter,
I know.
Rob Adams.
42 and rain showers all day. 33 for your low tonight with more of the same and a chance of sleet as well. 42, more rain tomorrow. 39 tomorrow night. 62, chance of more rain on Friday. 43 for the low. 57 is your high on Saturday. And I'm going to extend it just to make you both happy. Sunny, 62 on Sunday. Boom, chaka, laka. 43 in Shelton, 43 in Darien. We have 40 in Ridgefield and 40 in Greenwich, Connecticut.
As you're popping the hatch on your ark, we can thank Rob Adams for the sunny day.
Coffee break time, 11:32.
I've never heard so many different families of tens. 30s, 40s, 60s, 10s, 9. My God, it's like you're calling bingo over there. Stop.
I can't think of a number.
Where the hell is R in bingo?
I don't know. I just wanted to make one up.
No part of that was accurate. R, and followed by, I can't think of a number.
It's just more fun that way.
Oh, my
R, 11.
R, yeah, never mind.
We should take a break.
All right, well, why don't we do so? We'll step out for a moment. Temperatures right around the 40s. Traffic, plenty of road work in the area. We pause right here on a Wednesday edition, our own hump of the week here on the HAN Radio Network, or on HANradio.com and the Hersom Acorn Network. It's 11:33 on Coffee Break.
Lots of characters.
Every day, feel like
specializing
a day at the
in
beach.
children's birthday parties with your
Espresso
child's
Neat, located
favorite
at
characters.
20 Grove Street.
When you want
Enjoy
to
our
party
spacious
hardy,
patio
when you
all
need to
spring and
celebrate,
summer
call
long.
us. We won't be late. We help create lasting memories
Today's
for you
broadcast
and
is
your
brought to you
child
by
on
these
this special
sponsors,
day.
located
Call
in
us at
beautiful coastal Darien,
203-590-1791
The Darien Sport Shop,
or visit our
1127
website
Boston
at
Post Road. Make every
lotsofcharacters.org
day
for more
feel like a day
information
at the
and to
beach.
see our party packages.
Espresso Neat,
Lots of
located
characters.
at 20 Grove Street.
203
Enjoy our spacious patio all spring and summer
1791
long.
or online at lotsofcharacters.org.
Located in the heart of picturesque downtown Ridgefield at 13 Governor Street, Colby's is the area's premier
Today's
retailer
broadcast
for
is brought to you by
blinds,
these
shades,
sponsors,
shutters,
located
and
in
draperies,
beautiful
and is
coastal
one of the
Darien,
select
Connecticut.
few Hunter Douglas Gallery dealers. A family-owned and operated company, Colby's experienced staff will work with you in choosing the best treatments for your home or office and offer free measuring and expert installation. Colby's also carries an extensive line of decorative fabrics including Schumacher, Durley, Tebow, and more. Or browse over 400 books in our wallpaper library from famous designers such as Stroheim, Schumacher, Ralph Lauren, Tebow, and York. Take advantage of our Fashion in Motion savings event with savings and rebates on Hunter Douglas shades with PowerRise technology. Colby's of Ridgefield. We are committed to your complete satisfaction. 203-438-8531.
It's easy to advertise on HANradio.com, reach 263,000 listeners each month with our sports programming and talk programming. Call Marianne Hersom at 203-417-5199.
You're listening to Hersom Acorn Radio.
And you're listening to Coffee Break on HANradio.com and the Hersom Acorn Network, which does have an R in it. With John Kovach and Donald Eng, I'm Rob Adams. It is 11:35. Chilly day outside, John, and, well, better days are coming.
Yes. One can only hope.
Exactly.
As baseball season starts, and we'll be bringing you lacrosse tonight, which they play rain or shine.
Baseball Friday, which they don't play rain or shine.
Correct.
Rain does have an R in it.
Bingo does not.
Bingo does not. That was classic.
Things that we learned.
John, back to you.
Thanks, Rob. Monroe's $84.5 million budget proposal for fiscal 2015-16 was defeated in a referendum last night, falling by 204 votes, 1,533 to 1,329. Turnout was light, slightly less than 1/4 of the eligible voters in Monroe casting a ballot, which is down slightly from last year's first budget referendum. Voters in the Stepney School District approved the proposed budget by a count of 232 to 201, but voters at Massac, where it failed by 21 votes, and Fawn Hollow, where it fell 522 to 396, as well as Monroe Elementary School, where it fell 320 to 239, provided the margin of defeat. Monroe Town officials will meet Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Massac Media Center to discuss the budget and receive public comment. First Selectman Steve Vavrick expressed disappointment in the result of the vote, citing that efforts town officials had made to be transparent in their work on this budget. Donald Eng in studio with us. He is the editor of the Monroe Courier. Don, what was the difference here?
Well, the difference this year, they changed their budgeting quite a bit, actually. They had everything online. They had the original proposals and things like that that had been requested. And they let people see exactly what it was that they were funding, what they were doing, and they had referred to this as a slight step in the right direction for some of the things that the town needs, such as like replacing the school roofs, things like that, replacing some of their plow equipment and public works trucks, a lot of things that have been sort of neglected for a while. They really made an effort to address in this budget, and considering that the proposal would have been a 2.3% increase over the current year. That's actually a smaller increase than the one that passed last year after 3 referendums. But in this case, there's this. I think there's almost like this idea in towns that have referendums that if you don't defeat the budget 2 or 3 times, it's really not a referendum season. So they were surprised that they lost. I think, and it was disappointing. It was for them. They were really shocked.
So they approach it sort of like a finance board that feels it has to trim something.
Yeah, that's the approach, and that's actually what they did. Now they got hurt a little bit by the fact that Monroe revaled last year,
right? Which
means that obviously, and the grand list actually decreased by about 7% or so, and a lot of that was in the larger houses that aren't really selling, or they're selling for lower prices. Unfortunately for the folks that live there, the smaller houses, what you might call the entry-level houses in the Stepney district, a lot of them, those are actually selling for the demand for those is higher. So you have this seemingly unfair redistribution of tax burden from the larger houses to the people that own the smaller ones. Also, with the decrease in the grand list, that caused a proportional increase in the mill rate. So the mill rate that's being proposed is actually about 11% higher than last year's, but your taxes aren't going to go up 11% because you're being assessed on a different value of house. I'm not sure how good a job they did in communicating that to folks, that the mill rate is rising 11%, your taxes aren't going up 11%. That is that.
Can this be one of those years where Monroe goes back, what was it, a half dozen referendums about 5-6 years ago, where it was all summer before they approved it?
It could be, but my sense is it's not. I mean, the budget lost by 200 votes, which is a fairly narrow defeat, but still a defeat. A lot of times, if it's going to be a long season, you might see the first one lose by about 600 or so, and then what happens is, eventually the budget gets cut to the point where school parents panic, and then they all kind of head out to the polls. They really they were disappointed with the turnout. It was a little bit lower than last year, and they had put up some really big, bring out the vote efforts, but just didn't quite get the numbers they needed.
Is it a case where, and you see this often in referenda, where the people who support it just don't show up and don't think there'll be enough opposition to defeat it?
I think so. I mean, and the no votes are always kind of motivated to get out and vote more. People that are unhappy about something are always more motivated than those that are happy. I mean, and you see it a lot when you talk off the record to first selectmen or people in referendum towns. You see that they kind of know they kind of know where the bullseye is. Like essentially, they know how many no votes there's, and if they get a little bit more than that, then they know they're home free. It all depends on turnout. But my suspicion is that they'll get a better turnout next time. So I mean, we'll see what happens. They've got a work session tomorrow where they'll be looking at ways they can areas they can reduce spending on, and a lot of it's contractual, which kind of hurts them because no matter how many times you defeat the budget, things like teacher health care, things like that are never going to be cut. So that's the situation they're in, and they've got a tough job ahead, but they're going to get to work on it tomorrow, and we'll have round 2 in 3 weeks.
And you can follow that at MonroeCourier.com and in the Thursday's Monroe Courier. Coffee break time's 11:42. Rob, we've got budget news out of Ridgefield as well.
Yes, we certainly do. John and Don, thank you both. A no tax increase budget of just under $135 million was unanimously approved by the Ridgefield Board of Finance Tuesday night. The proposed 2015-16 town tax and spending plan will be put before voters for approval at the annual budget referendum in May. The budget proposes spending a total of $134.97 million, up from 1.2% from this year's spending. To cover the spending increase without any tax hike, the Finance Board will draw $1.8 million from the town's surplus fund balance. The Board of Finance did trim a bit from the budget increase requests it got from the school board and the selectmen, and took a bit of the road repairs budget, but are still seeing some increase. The school board's budget, that is, would be $86,078,365, up 0.98%. The selectmen's budget for town departments would be $34,023,548, up 2.23%. The road repair budget, $1.85 million this year, and requested to be $3 million due to the bad winter, was given $2.75 million. The tax rate under the proposed spending plan would remain 26.01 mils. Coffee break time, 11:43 Wednesday morning.
Thanks, Rob. The Milford Planning and Zoning Board last night agreed to a proposed settlement in an effort to build an affordable housing project at 1556 New Haven Avenue. That proposed settlement will now be headed for the land use litigation docket for a hearing at 10 a.m. May 7th in Hartford. The proposed settlement includes several conditions, one of which reduces the size of the projects from 8 units to 7. The Planning and Zoning Board in Milford voted 8-2 last night to deny the proposed affordable housing complex at 460 Bick Drive. After the meeting, Attorney Thomas Lynch said that he has already been in a conference call with the judge overseeing the land use litigation docket, and he expects a hearing will be scheduled on the denial of the Bick Drive project. The board reviewed a proposal to construct 15 apartments at 14 Gulf Street in another affordable housing project. The Milford Planning and Zoning Board will discuss and possibly vote on this application at its meeting April 21st.
Coffee break time, 11:44. We'll do one more, and then we'll try to grab a break. We've got to get some sports in as well, get another look at traffic, weather, all that stuff. An alleged attempt to steal a bag of day-old bagels landed a Trumbull man behind bars Monday morning. Police said Louis Belavacqua, 40, of Washington Street, assaulted an employee at Brugger's Bagels the morning of April 6th when confronted while trying to take the bag of bagels. Police said Mr. Bevilacqua shoved the employee, allegedly leaving a red mark, and threw the bag of bagels at her. He fled out the back but was later apprehended by police. Bevilacqua was also allegedly identified as a suspicious person in a call earlier Monday morning. Staff at Christian Heritage School said a suspicious man matching Bevilacqua's description entered the school and said he wanted his water bottle filled. Staff said he became upset that they did not fill the bottle all the way, but he then left before police arrived. Bevilacqua was charged with 6th-degree larceny, 3rd-degree assault, and breach of peace in the 2nd degree. He was held overnight for a court appearance Tuesday.
You know, Rob, because I do history, I remember when I was covering Trumbull, Louis Bevilacqua, who's kind of always on the periphery of local politics, he was involved in what I considered to be the single most obscure and ridiculous political spat of all time. He had gotten onto the Democratic ballot as a council candidate. which is not really hard to do because there's seven districts in town, and you need 4 people from each district to run. So every year you need 28 candidates. Anyway, he had gotten onto the Democratic ballot as a council candidate, and he had engaged in some bickering and kind of harsh arguments on some local political blogs. The Democratic strategist that they had hired recommended that the DTC take him off the ballot. The DTC voted to remove him, and Lewis. Now, keep in mind, I'm a history buff, so I know. So Lewis posts on his Facebook page, if she thinks I don't belong on a ballot, I'll call her Rickamer. Now, if you're one of those Philistines, ignoramuses that don't know who Flavius Ricimer is, he was a 5th century Roman general who exercised authority by exerting personality over a series of weak or puppet emperors in the 5th century in 5th century Rome. But talk about an obscure insult. I can just imagine saying, "Wait, what did you call me?" And then of course the RTC chairman decided to jump in, and he demands that the Democrats denounce this comment. And I remember his quote was, "Calling someone Rickamer is the same as calling them Hitler." And I'm thinking to myself, slight difference. People know who Hitler is.
Yeah, that's a good point there. And on that note, out for a break at 11:47. A little late today, but a bunch of different stories, John, that are kind of helping us jump around a bit.
It's made it different, and I would hope entertaining, because I know I'm enjoying it.
That's the point. We try to be entertaining and informative, I might add. And when we've got Don in the room, how can we not be?
Exactly.
We're out for a break. We continue on. It's a Wednesday edition of Coffee Break on HANradio.com and the Hersom Acorn Network.
The Darien Sports Shop, 1127 Boston Post Road. Make every day feel like a day at the beach. Espresso Neat, located at 20 Grove Street. Enjoy our spacious patio all spring and summer long. Today's broadcast is brought to you by these sponsors, located in beautiful coastal Darien, Connecticut. The Darien Sports Shop, 1127 Boston Post Road. Make every day feel like a day at the beach. Espresso Neat, located at 20 Grove Street. Enjoy our spacious patio all spring and summer long.
Beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, Connecticut. Visit us at dockshop.com.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
Did you know that taking dance lessons is a great date night idea? Arthur Murray Grand Ballroom of Greenwich is a fabulous place to learn to dance and meet new people. Located at 6 Lewis Street, our studio is staffed with professional instructors ready to teach you salsa, waltz, rumba, hustle, tango. There's a dance for every season. And we are rated #1 on the Knot.com. We are the wedding dance specialists. Take advantage of our new student offer, only $49. Call 203-769-1800. Visit us online at arthurmurraygreenwich.com.
This year, 3,000 Connecticut women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Hersom Acorn is a proud sponsor of the Komen Connecticut Race for the Cure. Help make an impact in the local fight against breast cancer by joining us on May 9th in Westport at Sherwood Island. With your help, Komen Connecticut invests in local breast cancer programs, helping local women beat breast cancer. Visit KomenCT.org to register, volunteer, or donate today. We race for Connecticut. Why will you race?
Hersom Acorn and HANradio.com.
What was that I was saying during yesterday's show? I know you were going to bring it back, but the big voice gets you every time.
It does. There is no doubt in HAN Radio when you are back. You can, no matter what, you could be welding. Whoa, my God, I'm back on. Speaking of which.
Yes.
John Kovacs with you. Back on your coffee break, presented by Stratford Orthodontics, joined in studio by Donald Eng. Rob Adams going to pick up his sports report, which if I had any sense of comic timing, we would have stopped him the last time mid-game. New Fairfield is at, okay, Rob, that's all the time we have. We'll pick up.
That's kind of like yesterday's show when we began to walk out at the mention of it being National Beer Day, which, by the way, I had not one drop of yesterday.
I did not have one yesterday either.
So, you know what? It was almost like doing the anti. That's too easy. I'm going to take it off.
I did have the emergency Cabernet as I was writing up the Monroe results for the referendum.
I respect that. That's okay.
Exactly. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm sitting here and just typing. It's like Hemingway did that, right?
Beer and wine.
Yes, he did.
They get grouped together.
Therefore,
it works.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm okay with it.
All right. Shall I do some more sports?
Pick up with where we left off.
Girls track and field on the schedule for today around especially the FCIAC. And again, many of these events are going to just get postponed. I don't think there's any way around it. Not that we're the official harbinger. You find out, or we'll let you know later on as soon as we find out. But I don't know. I'm not liking the chances today. St. Joe's, Weston, they're both at Darien at 4. Norwalk at Ridgefield at 4. McMahon plays Staples at 4. Girls track and field. Boys tennis. New Canaan at Danbury. New Canaan at Danbury. Norwalk at Staples. McMahon at Trumbull. Ridgefield is at Greenwich. West Hill hosting Fairfield Ludlow. Trinity Catholic at Wilton. Ward home for St. Joe's and Darien at Central. Girls tennis. Staples at Norwalk. Trumbull is at McMahon. Ridgefield home for Greenwich. West Hill at Ludlow. Wilton is at Trinity Catholic. Danbury at New Canaan, Ward at St. Joe's, and Central at Darien. Girls golf. Really don't like the chances of these taking place, but it's
no.
Danbury.
Though I did see guys playing yesterday.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're going to play.
Monday. I'm sorry, Monday.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll see full teams out there. Danbury and Wilton at Allensfield. Ward and Greenwich at the Griffith E. Harris, which I have not played in a couple of years. Have you ever played the Griff?
No, I have not.
I love the Griff. Absolutely love the Griff, but have not played it in several years. Boys volleyball, Central and Oxford. It's Newtown home for Darien, Massac at Ridgefield, Bassick at Colby, and the Ward Ludlow co-op is at Trumbull, but I would be remiss if I didn't cycle back to boys lacrosse and tell you about the game that we will have, which will be Ludlow home for Xavier at the brand new Rafferty Stadium on the campus of Fairfield University. Good game and a good facility. Excited to go out there and see it tonight. 7 o'clock, they will start things. Let's say 6:50 for our pregame. Looks like you and I on the call tonight.
Sounds good. I was really impressed with what I saw in the images that we played during our last sports update. And, Don, they have flipped the press boxes now. Excuse me, on what those of us who are familiar with the old alumni field, which is now Rafferty Stadium, the press box is on the opposite side now, the parking lot side, which was the visitors' bleachers. Still the visitors' bleachers, I believe, based on what I saw watching a Fairfield U lacrosse game on television a couple weeks ago. But the press box, and it's a much more impressive press box than what was there previously.
Well, it should be good. The school has made a big investment in its lacrosse programs. I mean, you see that lacrosse is one of those sports where you see a lot of schools that are ordinarily small schools that play in mid-major conferences that can really excel in lacrosse. I mean, you see like the Ivies play for national championships. I mean, Johns Hopkins is a Division III school that plays lacrosse in the Big Ten. So that's the direction the school's going. They are ranked in the top 25. Got a big game this weekend up against 15th ranked Towson. So go Stags.
Yeah, they are making an impact, which, again, and Fairfield U's obviously invested heavily in lacrosse, Rob.
They are.
With construction of the stadium. They did this a few years ago. They dropped football and hockey and invested heavily in basketball. So they're trying to really establish what is their sport.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they are trying to figure it out. And, of course, Rafferty will be used, and we'll explain some of that later on, but Rafferty will also be used for football later in the year, and I can see where we'll be back for that as well.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, very exciting. So it should be a fun facility. I'm looking forward to really taking advantage of it tonight. And of course, sitting here in Shelton, we would be completely foolish. And I know we're starting to run down on time, but Gino Auriemma and UConn, remarkable.
Remarkable victory lap today up in Stores.
10-0 in championship games.
That just amazes me.
Just amazing. And we'll try to get to a little more of that on Nutmeg as well today. Good show, Mike Scott Erickson as well. So that's later today. That's sports. I'm Rob Adams.
In other news, a Danbury woman is facing multiple charges after police say she assaulted an officer during an arrest Sunday night. Officers went to the woman's home on South Street to investigate a domestic violence report around 11 Sunday night. Police did not give Hearst, Connecticut details about the incident, but decided to arrest Yakima Lucia Sandoval, 35 years old, for the disturbance. Police said she then kicked an officer in the groin while being arrested and refused to be processed at police headquarters. She was charged with assault on public safety personnel, interfering with a police officer, second-degree threatening, disorderly conduct, and failure to submit to fingerprinting. Bond was $10,000. She was scheduled to appear in court on Tuesday.
Coffee break time, 11:56. 25-year-old John Lopez of 26 Water Street in Greenwich was charged Saturday with assault and disorderly conduct. Police said a woman came to headquarters to reports that Lopez had assaulted her and dragged her by the hair. Lopez was later arrested. He was unable to post $1,000 bail and held in police custody as we hit 11:57 on your Wednesday coffee break.
Thanks, Rob. We have breaking news in a case that we have talked about on Coffee Break and on Behind the News, that involving millionaire real estate heir Robert Durst and the saga of bodies left where he has moved on from, his arrests, his acquittals. In New Orleans, a prosecutor's spokesman has told the Associated Press that Durst has been indicted on 2 weapons charges, these resulting from his March arrest in Louisiana. Chris Bowman of the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office told the Associated Press today that a grand jury has charged Durst with possession of a firearm by a felon and possession of a firearm and a controlled dangerous substance. This arrest related to those charges has kept Durst from being extradited to Los Angeles, where he's facing charges in the 2000 death of friend Susan Berman. Until his indictment today, Durst has been arrested but not formally charged. During testimony, according to the Associated Press, an FBI agent recognized Durst in a New Orleans hotel March 14th, escorted him to his hotel room. He was arrested March 15th on the Los Angeles warrant and arrested separately the next day on the weapons charges. There is a hearing in the New Orleans case scheduled for tomorrow. So that out of New Orleans, Robert Durst indicted subsequent to his arrest in March on firearms charges. Your coffee break time is coming up on 11:59.
And really, probably a time for a final check of traffic and weather for a Wednesday.
Sounds good.
Shockingly. What we have is really not a lot, just your road work and various topics around, because we've got road work on 95 southbound beyond exit 16. The accident in Glastonbury on Route 2 West should be resolved by now. Waterford 95 northbound, that's road work at exit 82. Glastonbury on Route 3 north. There's some road work up there as well. Merritt Parkway, southbound, Route 15 if you prefer. Road work there at exit 44, Black Rock Turnpike. Road work, New Britain 72 westbound at exit 7, as well as in Groton 95 northbound beyond exit 86, and in New Haven 91 south at exit 3. Road work throughout all of those areas. For your forecast, someone else should read it at this point. Cloudy, rain.
I'm not throwing myself on that one. This is your problem.
Breezy, steady temperatures around 40 with an east wind from 15 to 20 and gusts up to 30. That'll be fun to play lacrosse in.
No kidding.
Rain showers likely in the evening, which will remind Marty, myself, of last Saturday at Ridgefield, but it was at least sunny there, rather. Tonight, rain showers likely in the evening. Rain showers and drizzle likely after midnight. Low of 35. 43 is your high for tomorrow. Cloudy, rain showers, drizzle likely mainly in the morning. We get to tomorrow night, showers and drizzle likely, patchy fog as well, and a low of 39. 62 on Friday for the high. Cloudy, a chance of showers in the morning, showers likely, isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon, patchy fog in the morning. Fingers crossed that they will play baseball at Ridgefield on Friday afternoon.
So hoping.
Yeah, me too.
I am so ready for it. I enjoy lacrosse.
Yeah.
And I don't mind covering a game on a day like this. As I tell the kids I coach in football, certain sports, football, one of them, force you to learn to appreciate days like this But, man, I just want to sit out on a nice, warm, sunny day and watch a baseball game.
Yeah, me too. Partly sunny and breezy, 62 will be your high on Saturday, 38 the low Saturday night. And for Sunday, partly sunny, 62. It's looking good out there as we reach the end of your coffee break. Don, you don't always sit in on a Wednesday, but I like the company in here today. Thanks.
Well, anytime I can fill in for Snoopy.
I don't know what to say to that. John, thank you as well.
Anytime.
Thanks to AJ, Marty, John, Josh, Tracy for John Kovach, Donald Eng, all of us here at HANradio.com and the Hersom Acorn Network. I'm Rob Adams. Nutmeg Sports with Paul Silverfarb and I at 2. So long.